Talk Time with Reed Moriarty.
We are here in Deer Isle. We're here to interview Jane McCloskey.
Well, let me straighten up here. Okay.
Of course.
Hold on a minute. I've got foods here. So if you want foods, do you want coffee or tea?
Cookies
Thank you.
and vegetables.
We do our best.
All right. So, Jane, do you still have clam chowder for lunch?
I do like clam chowder, but what I like even better, have you ever had clam spaghetti?
Clam spaghetti? That's gross. I would never like it.
Well, I grew up with it. So I thought it was pretty good. Anyway, it's you put it with garlic and cheese and
Garlic and cheese?
and clams and spaghetti.
Clams and spaghetti?
It still sounds awful.
It still sounds awful, Jane. My mom and dad read me McCloskey books. What books did your dad read aloud to you?
Well, he was the writer. My mom was the one who read to us. And I can't remember my father ever reading a book to us. My mom, because of her background, became a librarian, and she liked to read to kids. So that's what that was about.
I love librarians,
Oh, thank
Jane.
you. I do too. Well, thank you.
All right, Jane, I love it when you and Sal got ice cream cones at Condon's in Bucks Harbor.
Oh, you know.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor today?
Cherry Garcia.
That's Ben and Jerry's. I got to interview him.
You did? What did he talk about?
We talked about ice cream.
Well, that's a good thing.
So, Jane, where is the real Bucks Harbor?
Well, it's in Bucks Harbor, which is, you'll find it, GPS it, and it's about 15 miles away.
Do you still get ice cream there?
No, I'm sorry. The garage is there, and the store is there too, but it doesn't look like its old self. And the church looks like its old self. And Ray Gray's Marine, where we got our gas down on the water, that still looks like its old self.
All right. So, Jane, when is the last time you picked blueberries with Sal?
Oh, shame on me. I haven't picked blueberries. It's like swimming around here. Nobody does it. It's I buy blueberries.
What's your favorite recipe for using up fresh picked blueberries?
Oh, I just had a friend visiting, and we made blueberry muffins.
Blueberry muffins?
Have you ever
That's
had blueberry
awesome.
muffins? They're pretty good.
All
If you
right.
want, I'll send you one with you frozen, and you can have the Pilgrims Inn people unfreeze it.
Okay, then that's awesome, Jane. So, in what ways are you like your dad? Do you draw or paint, Jane?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I write, though, so I guess I'm like him that way. And what else am I like him? He liked geometry, and I like geometry. He drew a picture, and most people just think, oh, you just start drawing. Well, you don't. You think about how it's going to be put together on the page. And space is how that is. I'm very good about space, how space, I'm not very good about time, time I sort of flows along. But space I'm good with.
All right, so what are your fondest childhood memories of growing up?
When I was a kid, we grew up on Scott Island. I guess it was just like in the books. It was going around the shore and looking at rocks, under rocks, and finding crabs and finding eels and finding starfish. And that's what we like to do.
All right, so Jane, it seems like a boat is a necessary part of the lifestyle here. Are you a good boatswoman, Jane?
No, I used to be, but I got old and I got heavy, and my balance isn't so good. So, but my sister still has a boat, and she goes out, and she's a good boats person. And my nephew, he went to Maine Maritime Academy, and he's the chief mate on a oil tanker.
That's great, Jane.
Yes, actually, I take it back. He's on a tugboat that pulls oil.
Tugboat?
Do you go on ferries around in California? I always hear him talking about ferries.
Well, we took the ferry to Nantucket.
Oh, yeah. He used to run on that ferry.
He used to, Jane?
He was the, I guess they only have the captain and the mate on those boats, and he was the mate. It's his first job.
So, Jane, Bert Dow, Deep Waterman is another favorite book of ours. Who was the real character he was based on?
Bert Dow.
Bert Dow?
His name is Bert Dow, and he lived on the
course.
Dow Road. If you go down toward Deer Isle, there's a bright red house that looks like a miniature version of the Pilgrim's Inn.
Yeah, we're staying at the Pilgrim's Inn,
I
Jane.
used to work there.
You did?
And there's a library right by the Pilgrim's Inn, Jane.
Yeah, right across the way. Yep.
That's the Dow Road, Jane?
But the Bert's house got burned down or rotted out, and it's not there anymore. I've looked for it. So Bert has a gravestone on the King Row. If you want to go sightseeing, you can do that.
All right.
Ginny and Buck Walton lived in next door to the Pilgrim's Inn, and it was called the Arklet because the Pilgrim's Inn was called the Ark, and so it's part of the inn now. It's but Ginny and Buck were friends with Bert Dow.
All right.
And they're in the book because Ginny was Ginny Poor in the book and Buck was Doc Walton.
So we have 3 more questions. What is the hardest part of winter, Jane?
Cold and ice. I've lived in New York and Boston and Western Massachusetts, and here the snow turns to ice like nowhere else in the world. Nowhere. So anyway, we worry about falling down. People say, "How are you doing?" And say, "I'm still upright." I used to think it was funny. It isn't. Anyway, so.
All right, Jane, let's close it with clam chowder for lunch.
Clam chowder
for lunch.
Yes. Okay. Well, there.
Talk Time with Reed Moriarty.
I play old-fashioned ones, like my yon bonny banks and my yon bonny brazen. I think it's before your time.